now. And then
3,
2,
1.
1.
1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to Complete with Review, the only show to get 31% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm here with my Batflick co-host, Jacob Griffin. Jacob, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a Friday morning. Well, I guess afternoon technically, but
Yes.
I'm ready to talk some Batman v Superman with you.
Are you?
Yeah.
And full disclosure here, you have seen the movie. I have not. I've not seen it yet.
Right.
I was discouraged by the 31% and was hesitant in wanting to go see it. But you dove right in. No fear.
Well, I had already bought my tickets weeks before, so I couldn't back out at this point.
You were committed.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could have canceled my tickets and got my money back, but I just didn't feel like it. So I was like, I'll go in. I'll give it my own opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, how bad could it really be?
Yeah, I mean, it's as long as it's not Fantastic Four and it's a competently made movie, I'm sure it's fine.
Well, Jacob, do you want to answer that question right out of the gate? Did you enjoy the movie?
I'm going to go on a limb here, and this may be a bold statement. I think I kind of love it.
Oh, okay.
Honestly. I think it's really good.
I am not exaggerating when I say you are literally the first person I've ever heard say that.
I don't know if it's just because I went in with rock bottom expectations.
So, it just literally couldn't disappoint you. Anything it did was good.
And, a lot of it was actually, really well done, I think. At least, some things this, another bold statement I'm going to go with here. I think Ben Affleck is maybe the best on-screen Batman we've had in a long time, live action-wise, obviously, because the animated one, let's be serious, Kevin Conroy's the best Batman, period.
Absolutely.
But live action-wise, I think Ben Affleck's really great as Batman.
Really?
I disagree with some of the things that his character, the way they're making Batman in these movies, it seems, and we'll talk about that more when we get into the spoiler section, but I like his performance. I think he's a good Bruce Wayne and a good Batman, which is it's
a
very
rare
hard
combination.
It's very hard to do that. Christian Bale's a really good Bruce Wayne, and his Batman's iffy for me.
Yeah.
Same thing with I guess George Clooney is a good Bruce Wayne. I think he's just bad all around, that guy.
Just not a good Batman.
Yeah, and and then Michael Keaton, good Batman, terrible Bruce Wayne.
It's the Spider-Man dilemma. Can we get a good Peter Parker and get a good Spider-Man in the same guy?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've always said though, if you just mix and match Tobey Maguire with Andrew Garfield, you have the perfect Spider-Man.
Yeah. So what you're saying is if we can put Ben Affleck with Christopher Nolan, we have the best Batman ever? Or do you think Ben Affleck has carried the torch?
I think he's carried the torch pretty well. I would love to see Ben Affleck. I would love to see a Christopher Nolan version of this Batman. I think that would be really crazy. My main problem actually, a lot of it comes from the fact of it's stupid things that Zack Snyder does as a director that I don't like in a lot of his movies.
That I've been hearing a lot of. It's less that the movie is awful, but more Zack Snyder didn't know what to do with it.
Zack Snyder, I don't think, knows what to do as a director. I feel like he comes in here and he's like that 13-year-old who has a really cool idea that he tells his friends for a movie. He's like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if Batman and Superman fought and there was so much other crap around it and it wasn't really even about the fight in the end? Wouldn't that be great? And his friends are like, yeah, Zach, that's a great idea. Because, they're all just talking in a circle.
Yeah, they're trying to be supportive, just get them to shut up.
But the problem is that the circle of friends that he was with were the Warner Brothers executives, and they gave him $250 million to make this movie.
They really wanted to get him out of that room.
Exactly. They were like, we just want Zach out of here. Let's just get rid of Zach. But I'm going to kind of wrap up my spoiler-free thoughts here because I really want to talk about this movie.
Okay.
In depth. Oh, hold on. Someone's just pulling in my driveway right now, and it's freaking me out. What is going on here?
I'm getting a visitor. They're selling you Girl Scout cookies, maybe.
Okay, no, they're backing out. I guess it was just a turnaround.
Oh, no Girl Scout cookies for you.
That always just scares me when that happens.
What, when somebody pulls into your driveway?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, that threw me for a loop. Anyway, so I love it. I love it a lot. I was going to say, I like it a lot. I think I love it. It's really good. I would say go in there and make your own opinion on it as a moviegoer. Like, it seems to be very divisive with people. Don't really listen to the critics, I guess, on this one, maybe.
So do you want to give it your own rating, independent of the 31% it currently has on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm going to give it a B+, burgeoning on an A-.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's higher than I thought.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
And I think it's safe to say we're not going to see any more Zack Snyder films for DC.
I don't know. I guess it all really depends on this movie's opening weekend. I'm sure if Warner Brothers sees those dollar signs, they don't really care.
I think Zack Snyder embodies the saying "fake it till you make it," and he's just too in over his head at this point to admit that he's just kind of winging it.
He wants people to think that he's like a comic book fan, but I don't think he's a comic book fan at all, really.
No, is that the impression you got?
That's the impression I got, yeah, because this is going to be more spoiler stuff, but he just takes these characters in weird directions that, like, they've never really been in.
Okay, so I can see you're pretty itching to get into the spoiler stuff, but before that, we're going to play a clip we recorded yesterday.
Well, wait, before you say that, this is the spoiler section technically now. So
yes.
If you haven't seen the movie, get out, go see it yourself, or if you just don't care, I guess you can keep listening.
Yeah. But what's coming up next is we recorded a small segment yesterday about Jacob and I planning out the entire movie, how it was going to go in chronological order, and everything that was going to happen. And we did that as a test to see how much the trailers actually revealed to us. So we're going to play that clip for you right now.
So this is a little special thing that I'm recording for, I think I'm going to lay out exactly how I think Batman v Superman's going to go, and we're going to do a complete review on it. And if I'm right, I'm going to just edit this into the show.
Do you want to just edit this straight in?
Just edit this straight in. Like, I'll at the beginning of the show, I'll say either whether I was right or wrong, and then from there we'll go into this, and then we'll go back into the review.
It's going to be a long review.
Yeah. It's probably going to be a lot to say.
Yeah.
Either way.
Okay.
Movie opens. It's the end of Man of Steel, but from Batman's point of view, like we've seen in the trailers, as we pointed out before. He sees that, he's like, oh man, the Superman, he's a bad guy, he's going to go back, he's going to talk to Alfred, right? And then, maybe he's going to go do his little Batman thing, they're going to go to that party that we see from the trailer, and this is going to set up kind of everybody, right? Batman talks to Clark Kent, they get into their little match of words that we see in the trailer.
You wouldn't want to get in a fight with this guy.
Yeah, and then, Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne together, I love it.
It's a very good impression.
That is a tight grip. You would not want to get into a fight with this person. Introduces Lex Luthor. We realize he has maybe some weird ulterior motives of wanting to get the two together. Maybe he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yes.
Maybe he knows that Clark Kent is Superman. I don't know how he wouldn't know. The man just puts on glasses.
He's a genius.
Exactly. Then we're also going to introduce Diana Prince here. Not Wonder Woman at this point, just Diana Prince. Mm-hmm. She's going to be, dancing with Batman. They're going to be talking, maybe she goes to a little thing, right? They start a little romance. That's a side plot, though, right? Okay. Batman keeps doing his stuff, stops some things, right? And then Superman's doing his stuff somewhere else. Like, maybe we see, like, two parallel things of the way they stop crime differently. Mm-hmm. Like, Superman maybe does it all American, I'm Superman, sort of thing.
Yeah, like the flood you see in the trailer comes down like a god. And
he's Superman's like, I'm Jesus Christ. Yeah. And Batman will be like, I'm going to break your neck. I'm going to paralyze you for the rest of your life.
Does Batman kill now? Superman killed.
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we still keep that because the whole big thing that everyone hates about Man of Steel is that Superman killed a guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we want that with everyone's beloved character,
with
Batman.
The guy who literally says he never kills?
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone loves Batman, so, like, I think that would piss people off more than it did even with Superman.
Yes.
So, then, at some point, maybe... I'm going to go with this here. I'm going to go down this rabbit hole. I think that the Superman soldiers that we see in the movie are run by Lex Luthor, and he's just trying to discredit Superman. That's why you see, like, in those, he's talking to that senator because he wants to get rid of Superman. He thinks Superman's some crazy alien, right? That's why the senator's coming down. He's like, maybe we shouldn't have somebody with this kind of power in the world.
Because that's what Lex Luthor always does. He's always trying to get rid of Superman.
He's always like, Superman. Who needs Superman?
Yeah.
Right. So then, So after that kind of Senate meeting thing, Batman finally is like, you know what? No, we do need to stop this guy. This guy needs to go away. The Superman soldiers come in, right? They're saying they're fighting in the name of Superman. They're like killing people maybe in like some foreign country, let's say like Brazil, Venezuela. Somewhere with a desert probably, actually.
I think Brazil has a desert.
I know. Let's say like they kill someone in Africa then. Egypt. Something like that, right? Batman's like, I gotta go find out what's going on with these Superman soldiers, right? Meanwhile, Lex Luthor's got kryptonite and General Zod's body, right? So General Zod comes in, right? And he's like... no, General Zod doesn't come in and say anything.
He walks in, how you guys doing?
Yeah, General Zod...
His head's looking the wrong way.
General Zod's body comes in, right? And Lex Luthor's like, we've got it. We've got this. And he like looks into a thing, and he's got green rock, and he's got kryptonite. So maybe...
He goes all Dr. Frankenstein on this guy.
I feel like he dusts up some kryptonite, blows it in Superman's face. I don't know why I think he does this. Does something to that effect and makes Superman kind of go crazy.
That's where we get the Bizarro.
That's where we get the sort of Bizarro thing that I think is going on in the trailer and why he's so pissed off at Batman, right? So Batman's, off in the desert. He's got his Batman desert suit that you can buy now at Toys R Us. And he's in there and he sees all the Superman soldiers. He's fighting them. They capture him. Apocalypse soldiers come for some reason. At which point, we then see that scene where Superman like flies down into the hole and walks up, rips the mask off Batman, finds out that it's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Right? Because he doesn't know. Lex Luthor probably knows. So then, right, so that happens, right? Batman gets out somehow. Maybe the Apocalypse soldiers come at that point, and that's how he gets out in the frenzy of everything.
Well, they're the ones guarding that hallway that Superman walks down to.
Yeah, no, not those soldiers. I'm talking about the ones that fly.
Oh,
in.
right,
the
flying
Apocalypse soldiers.
Yeah, never mind.
So maybe that's how they come in. Maybe a frenzy of that. That's how Batman gets away. Right? Comes back, realizes, thinking that Superman's evil because of like this crazy kryptonite thing Lex Luthor's done, and he's like, Alfred, we need to stop this asshole because he's gonna kill everybody. And Alfred's like, he's not our enemy. I don't know why I turned him into like an Iranian guy. I was trying to get a British accent going, and I can only do Michael Caine as Alfred, so I'm going to do that. Master Wayne, he's not our enemy. He's a good man. Something he's like off Alfred, right? Goes out there in his Superman suit, turns on the beam, and he's like, I see this one shot in the commercial, and I think it's so badass, and I wish this movie was so good, because it looks so great in this moment. When Superman comes down to the ground, he's like, and Batman's just standing, he's like, well, here I am. And they're going to punch for a bit, and then eventually one of these punches that Batman's going to land, because he's probably got kryptonite in his suit, he probably stole it from Lex Luthor, or he got it somehow.
Yeah. As he always does.
Yeah. He's going to knock out or punch Superman, and it's going to be like, whoa, what? Why
did that hurt me?
Why did that hurt me? What's going on here? Because you always see the part where he blocks the punch in one of the trailers.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, whoa, was I just like destroying everything or whatever? And then they're going to be like, oh man, Lex Luthor did this to us. He's kind of a dick. We should stop him, right? So they fly over and do whatever the hell they're going to do, and they go over to LexCorp, and Lex Luthor's got his big machine, and he's going to be like, you don't know how to stop something or whatever, and he's gonna like do his whole lightning show that he's doing.
Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, Dr. Frankenstein lightning show, and Zod's body is gonna turn into Doomsday. So now we've got a big thing with Doomsday here, right? Doomsday, Superman and Batman are gonna have to fight Doomsday. They realize they're outnumbered, and all of a sudden Wonder Woman comes in, starts fighting them with Doomsday. Maybe they stop Doomsday or something like that. And then Lex Luthor shows his ultimate power that he has. And I'm only going off what one of the toys says here. So this could just not be in the movie at all. Lex Luthor comes out in his power suit. Goes to fight the Trinity. The Trinity obviously defeat them. Lex Luthor gets put in jail. Batman and Superman become mates. They shake hands at the end. They're like, ha ha ha. We're good friends now. Let's start the Justice League. And that's the way the movie ends. They decide to form the Justice League.
I agree with almost all of that.
Really?
Yes.
You like that?
Yeah. The one differing opinion that I have is that fight scene where Batman and Superman are going at, and he's blocking the punch, and they're exchanging blows. That is, I agree. That's where Superman's losing his mind because of whatever Lex Luthor does, and turns him into Bizarro, the Bizarro-esque Superman. Yeah. And I agree, he knocks him, punches him in the face, whatever. He's, oh, okay, I'm set straight. That is when Doomsday immediately pops in. That's the shot you see of him shooting, and then Wonder Woman drops in, and they're both confused.
See, I really don't think, though, that they're going to set up Doomsday just as, like, this thing that comes down. Like, I really think it's going to be something like they go to face Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor turns his machine on, and that's when Doomsday
that big
comes.
reveal. That's entirely possible.
And then she'll block the thing. Like, I think the laser... Maybe she comes in during the fight with them, and she blocks the laser of Superman. Like, maybe that's Superman's laser. And then the big explosion they show in the trailer, like, maybe it's just edited weird. And the explosion they show in the trailer is actually from Doomsday, but the laser block from her is just Superman.
Isn't that the same cut? Like, it's her drops down with Superman and Batman behind her.
No, because actually the Superman Batman cut is different, because it's Superman in his car, and he's about to get blown up by...
You mean Batman in the car?
Batman in the car, and you assume he's going to get blown up by Doomsday because they show the Doomsday laser face, but then later on, the way it's cut in the trailer, he's out of the car with a gun in his hand, and he's like... And the Superman's like, is she with you?
I thought she was
with you. Dun, 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 dun. And like
they all look menacing and threatening. Batman's like, I've never held a gun before. This is weird.
How does this work? I've never been to a gun range. My parents were killed by one of these.
Yeah. Kind of why Batman doesn't use guns. Come on,
at some point, they're probably going to show his parents die, because you see that in the trailer.
So, where does Aquaman, Cyborg, and Flash fit into this?
Here's where I can't figure this out. All right, the one I kind of figure out is, I think maybe. Flash isn't Flash on this movie.
He's Barry Allen.
Until the end. He's Barry Allen, probably one of those Senate hearings.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of the lawyers on the council or something like that. Then Cyborg maybe works at Wayne Enterprises. Maybe he's like a Wayne Enterprises employee or something like that, and we find out that he's like half cyborg man.
Okay.
Diana Prince is probably just some rich lady that Bruce Wayne just meets.
Yeah.
So we don't have to really set her up.
She's one of those red carpet models that show up because she's doing intel on Superman.
Yeah. Or maybe she's looking into Lex Luthor. Who knows?
Yeah. Whatever she's doing there.
Yeah. Then Aquaman...
Where does he fit in?
Maybe there's a fight at sea. I don't know.
Like, there's no way there's going to be an all-out brawl, right? There's no way it's going to be Batman, Superman, Flash, Cyborg, and
No, there's
Aquaman.
no way they're all fighting together in this movie.
No, there's no way.
There's absolutely no way.
Because that would be 5 on, at best, 2. Because then it would be Doomsday and Lex Luthor. For some reason, their team, Doomsday respects his Dr. Frankenstein creator and works with him or whatever, but I don't see that happening.
That's not happening.
It'd be pretty cool.
It would be cool, but it'd be really dumb.
Yeah.
And even dumber than already the movie that I've laid out for you.
Yes. So, I agree with the Barry Allen. That makes sense. I agree with the, Diane. I think she fits.
Yeah.
She's going to be one of the red carpet models at that party.
Yeah.
Doing whatever she's doing.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne woos her.
Bruce Wayne woos her. But she's not interested in Bruce Wayne because she's trying to get intel on Superman or whatever she's doing.
Lex Luthor, anybody.
Yeah, whatever she's trying to do. And Aquaman, for the life of me, I can't figure out where Aquaman, he doesn't have a human persona. He doesn't.
No, he's just the Prince of the Sea.
Yeah, he's Aquaman. He doesn't have a Flash, Barry Allen secret identity.
He doesn't have a Clark Kent.
He doesn't have a Clark Kent. He doesn't even have glasses.
Exactly.
Whenever that pops in my head, I think of Green Lantern. What, you think I don't recognize it because I can't see your cheekbones?
Yeah, like all he has is like a green mask, like right here on the eyes. Yeah.
I don't like. That's where I think this movie is going to suffer.
That's the one thing is I kind of have the basic what I think the gist of it's going to be. I can't figure out where specific things go in though.
Cyborg and the Aquaman, I don't think they fit, and that's going to bring this movie down because they're going to shoehorn them in there somehow, and the movie's going to suffer for it.
Yeah.
We should make note that we are recording this the day before the movie comes out, or technically the day of.
It comes out tonight at 6:00.
It's Thursday. Thursday, 3:30.
Yep.
So you're seeing the movie in just under 3 hours.
Yep, just under 3 hours. I'm seeing it at the 6:00 showing at the AMC Dartmouth movie theater.
I might not see it at all.
Yeah.
So we're debating. Regardless if I see it or not, there's going to be a complete review, and you'll know that because this is going to be stitched into it.
I think what we decided is if I come out of this and I say this movie's garbage, you're just not going to see it.
Yes.
And if I come out of it and I'm like it's all right, are you going to go see it?
Probably.
But do you want to wait for the complete review then, or do you just want me to just come in and just do this?
We'll do it immediately.
Yeah.
Because
we'll do this tomorrow morning.
I would say I would be wary of spoilers.
Yeah.
but we already know the whole damn movie.
Yeah. The trailer pretty much is... That's probably why it's so easy for me to lay out this plot of this movie for you.
Yeah.
It's because I've seen pretty much the whole thing.
Right. And I have an alternate theory for the... you explained the Apocalypse Soldiers and all that pretty well. How Batman's in Saudi Arabia or Egypt or wherever he is fighting in that desert. There was rumor that was Scarecrow or Martian Manhunter giving him an invasion.
Oh, I didn't even put in the thing about how they're going to set up... not Apocalypse, what's his name? Darkseid. Darkseid?
Yeah, Darkseid, sorry.
Yeah. Darkseid, so at some point, Batman's going to get a vision or something?
Yeah.
Because you see Batman in that little hallucination part.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets hallucinated in the desert part or something? Or maybe when he's knocked out, he thinks he's fighting something. I don't know. Something crazy. But he's going to get a vision of the future because you see it in the trailer. You see an Omega symbol, which is Darkseid's little thing that he does, and it's like burned into the ground. So
yeah,
that's going to show up in there. I think that's probably either part of that desert part or it's going to be somewhere
like,
in the middle of the movie.
Like Scarlet Witch giving Tony Stark a hallucination kind of thing.
Yeah,
where he sees the future and his friends are dead. And
yeah, exactly.
There we go. That is the end of the movie. Is Batman telling the rest of the group that he saw this vision, he knows something is coming, and they need to create this League of Justice to stop whatever.
For America.
Yeah, for specifically
America.
That one city of, whatever it is.
Gothamtropolis.
Yeah, Gothamtropolis. And that's how Justice League is shoehorned.
Yeah. The question now becomes, where does Suicide Squad fit in here? And where does Wonder Woman... Well, I know where Wonder Woman fits in. That's way beforehand. And then I assume something happens? I don't know.
Yeah.
And she comes into modern times. But with Suicide Squad, I don't know if it's before this or after this.
I would say Suicide Squad... It's released after this, correct?
Yeah, it's released after this. But I don't know if it happens before Batman v Superman or not.
I would say it happens after.
It seems like it happens before, though. Because Batman's just off doing his own thing. Like, you think, like, Superman would get involved with that.
I mean,
because there'd be mates by the end of this movie.
It's the same thing with why not just call the Avengers? Because we couldn't afford the budget.
I guess.
So, that is our prediction.
That's Jacob's prediction.
That is Jacob's prediction. I agree with...
And you've added in some elements, which I agree with a lot of them, actually.
Yeah, I agree with 90% of what you said, and I have a few alternate theories on, the vision of the desert and the... what was the other one? I forget. Whatever.
Oh, we were trying to figure out where Aquaman fits in.
Yeah, Aquaman and Cyborg. Still have no idea how you fit in that.
Another alternative way I think this could end is maybe they all come in at the end and fight Doomsday and Lex Luthor.
They do that big...
I doubt it. But...
Okay, so at the time of this recording, last checked, the movie's somewhere between 33 and 35% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I would think a fight of that caliber would be done well enough that it would kind of bump the ratings a little bit. If nothing else, people would go, the fight scenes are cool.
I feel like at that point, though, because that's at the end, like, people... Like, if this movie is as much of a mess as people saying it is...
You've been there for almost 3 hours at this point.
Yeah, you're like, I just want this to be over.
Yeah, you're in the home stretch, and rather than going... Oh wow, this movie flew by. You're going, please shoot me. I've been listening to, Batman grunts.
This is nonsense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll see. But, like we said, this will be stitched into...
I think I'm going to stitch it in either way.
Yeah.
Even if it's wrong or not, and then we can compare and contrast.
Yes.
So,
while we have to wait a day to do the extra recording, you're going to hear it right now. All right, Jacob, so they just listened to the entire prediction we made for Batman v Superman, and the question on the people's mind, Jacob, how right were you?
I was about a good 65% right.
That is depressing.
Yeah. Let me just say something to you. The trailers are beat for beat what this movie is about, but there's, like, stuff in the middle that's very interesting.
So they didn't completely screw up.
Yes. Let's talk really quick, because this is something I think that we can talk about super quickly on this. Or I might get into more things with this. The longest part I think we're going to talk about is the desert sequence.
Okay.
But so when it comes to the way all the other Justice League members are introduced into this movie, it's really dumb. Let me just tell you that.
Oh, God.
And remember how we were like, how are they going to shoehorn in Aquaman? And there was a couple ways where I was like, they could shoehorn in Aquaman in a couple of these scenes. There's a scene towards the beginning of the movie where there are these people searching the ocean and they find like a rock of kryptonite there. And when it showed people in the ocean, I was like, oh, so this is going to be Aquaman's part, right? And I was like, wow, that's really weird that like 10 minutes in they're showing Aquaman's part. But then it wasn't Aquaman's part. And then there's a part later on in the movie where Lois Lane's like underwater, and like I was like, oh, so Aquaman's gonna show up here. It doesn't make any sense why Aquaman would show up here. And it's during the Doomsday fight, and I was like, but I guess this is where Aquaman shows up, but he doesn't. But earlier on in the movie, Ben Affleck brings like one of his, I'm gonna call it a bat flash drive because I don't know what to call it. And he like downloads the contents of Lex Luthor's like entire server network. And so when he goes back home and decodes it, he finds all these files on metahumans. And so that's when he finds out that Wonder Woman's Wonder Woman, because at this point he's only seen her as a woman at parties.
He's only seen Diana Prince.
Exactly, he's only seen Diana Prince. And they never really refer to her as Diana Prince either in the movie. It's really weird.
Really?
They do in one scene when she leaves an airplane. Like, the lady's like, Miss Prince, and that's like the only time you ever hear her name.
Oh, so just enough to know that, they're still keeping the name.
Yeah, exactly. And then he sends over... so she has stolen the Bat Flash drive earlier on in the movie too, so she has all of LexCorp's stuff too. And so when Batman like emails her like a picture of old Wonder Woman, so that's clearly a still from the Wonder Woman movie, and he emails her this and he goes, "Is this you? Like, are you her or whatever?" It's like really weird.
He emails her?
He emails her. She gets an email from Bruce Wayne, and it literally says Bruce Wayne, and it's like Bruce Wayne at WayneTech.com or something like that. And he's
That's
like,
incredible.
Is this you? Is this her? And then like she's like the picture. Then she opens up the MetaHuman files, and they literally have folders with each character's logo on it. I'm not even shitting you. This is all on Lex Luthor's computer.
Wow.
It's got all the logos on it. So she clicks on the lightning bolt one, and it's like a surveillance video of the Flash, like stopping a guy robbing a convenience store. Like he's like picking like a milk or something like that out of the thing. He sees the guy pull the gun. He runs over, knocks the guy over, and he's back at the milk thing. Then the Aquaman one is the absolute worst one because it's just these underwater drones that see Aquaman out there, and he like comes like right up to camera, and he's like in front of the camera for like 2 minutes, and then he just like stabs the camera with his trident.
I honestly think that's probably the worst way they could have done this.
Oh yeah, no. And then Cyborgs was just like, he was like half a body on like a thing, and his dad like finds this metal that just rebuilds him, and that's the end of his surveillance video.
Really?
Yeah. And this is how they introduce all of them, except for another thing that happens during the desert sequence that we'll talk about more in depth when we get there, that has to do with one of the characters. Other than that, and Wonder Woman's fighting during this, that's all we really get of the Justice League.
So, some crappy,
Basically, it's all surveillance videos.
That's an awful way to do this, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It does answer the question of how do you impossibly shove in 2 or more characters that have no place being in this movie.
I thought, in a way, it made sense to do that this way in this movie, but it was just really dumb with the fact of, like, I laughed out loud when I saw the files all had their logos on it. I was like, what do you mean?
Does that mean we can credit Lex Luthor for creating the logos of all the superheroes now?
Yeah, I think that's what we can mean. Oh, also, I didn't even get to talk about it in the spoiler-free section. I think Lex Luthor's really good in this, actually.
Really?
I like him a lot. Like, he went for it, and it's different, and at the end, he kind of turns into the normal Lex Luthor.
Does he go bald?
Yeah, he does go bald at the end. Like, they put him in prison, and they shave his head for some reason. Like, it's weird. It's not like he's going into the military or anything like that. He's going into prison. And, so then, he, like, at the end of the movie, he's, I guess, seen that Darkseid is coming. Because he starts screaming, we've rung the dinner bell, and it can't be unrung. And so, like, I guess he knows about Darkseid, because alright, so, we were kind of right about the fact that he knows a bunch of Kryptonian secrets now.
Yeah.
Because all of the Kryptonian, like, archives are held on General Zod's spaceship from the end of Man of Steel, and he gets in there. And then he weirdly, like, puts General Zod's body in, like, a pool and then cuts his hand open, and that creates Doomsday.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. And then, like, they don't even really call the character Doomsday, but it's Doomsday.
What do they call him?
Well, no, it's really stupid how they shoehorn it in because Lex Luthor's like screaming at Superman because like Superman's like talking to him, and he says it's a Kryptonian like deformity or something like that, like a creature from another planet, and he goes, "You're Doomsday."
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's the way we went with this, huh? Just calling it his Doomsday. Also, I'm kind of jumping around here a lot because I have a lot to say about certain things, but like we were right about the Doomsday thing, but I was wrong about the fact that Lex Luthor does not have a suit of power armor.
so it doesn't show up.
No, it's that toy must just be like a thing they just want to sell another toy.
Fair enough.
That happens a lot with these kind of movies, like how you have like with the Iron Man movies, like sometimes they have like Deep Space Iron Man and crap like that.
Yeah.
Like, so that made sense to me then once the end of the movie came, and I really expected like the other shoe to drop in there to be like a power armor suit that came out, but it wasn't. So I kind of want to talk about some other things we got right. The movie doesn't entirely open the way we said it did. Well, the way I said it did. It opens with it's like a opening credits montage of the death of Batman's parents, and then it cuts to the beginning of Man of Steel. I mean, the end of Man of Steel.
So they had to do a quick origin story for Batman first, and then do.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of the way the old Spider-Man movies would do, like the previously on Spider-Man kind of thing, where they'd like recap it in the opening credits.
Oh yeah, Uncle Ben getting shot, and then this, that, the other thing, and yeah.
And then they kind of did it too with the Incredible Hulk movie, the one with Edward Norton in it, when they show his origin, because you don't need to see the Hulk's origin again.
Yeah, you've seen him transform 17 times at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of like that, and then it just cuts to the end of Man of Steel, and Bruce Wayne's running through the city and seeing everything get destroyed. There was no Wayne investor meeting, by the way, either. It was just literally he drops down in Metropolis. Like, he comes out of a helicopter in Metropolis and then drives through the city. It's actually a really well-done sequence. It looks really good. And, like, it's a really, like, thrilling sequence. But the problem with it is that we know that Bruce Wayne, nothing's going to happen to Bruce Wayne, so there's no real tension in it.
Yeah.
In any of the things that he's doing.
He's running through a city being destroyed, and you're not sitting there going, "Oh my God, he's gonna die."
Yeah, and they keep like doing like fake me out deaths with him during it, and
I hate that.
Yeah, like they keep showing like he goes into the cloud, and you're like, "Oh, maybe he's dead," and it's like he's not. Then like he saves a little girl from falling rubble, and he's not dead. Like,
is that the girl he's like hugging in the trailer?
Yeah, it's that scene, and then we kind of have it right that he's trying that Lex Luthor is trying to coax that senator into helping him, but she's not totally on his side like it looks in the trailer. Like, she's kind of against Superman, but she's not on the side of Lex Luthor, because like Lex Luthor wants to import in the big rock of kryptonite.
Yeah.
So that way he can
Wait, what? That's something I didn't ask you. Why is that in the sea?
I don't know. I think it was just something like it fell off one of the ships or something.
It'd be kind of weird for them to be carrying that around with them if that's the only thing that, can hurt them.
I mean, I'm sure they don't know. Or maybe it was something where, like, a piece of it fell in the ocean during the dubstep machine thing? Because the dubstep machine thing was trying to turn the planet into kryptonite. I mean, into Krypton. So maybe that...
It's a remnant of that, maybe?
Maybe. I have no clue, honestly. Like, it was just weird. Like, these kids found it in the sea.
It just seems, like, conveniently placed.
And so... so Lex Luthor wants the rock of kryptonite, and he needs, like, a import thing for it, like a notice or something like that from the senator, and the senator won't give it to him. And so... he, like... Oh, man. All right, so this I'm kind of jumping around here because, like, I have to talk about another part of this to get into what happens with the senator. Is remember how we were like, he's trying to frame Superman to be a bad guy?
Yeah.
He is doing that, but he's doing it in like a way that we weren't right about. So
I forget what we said. We said like he was using something to turn Superman into
Yeah, he doesn't do what I said, where he crushes up a rock of kryptonite and blows it into Superman's face.
Like pixie dust style?
Yeah, he doesn't do that. He's just like So that scene that you see where Superman comes to the Senate meeting.
Yeah.
One of the guys that was one of Bruce Wayne's employees that loses his legs during it, Lex Luthor gives him a new wheelchair, and the wheelchair has a bomb in it. And so the bomb goes off during that Senate meeting.
Oh,
and so
God.
it looks like Superman did it. And so everyone's like against Superman for that reason. But then... And that's the catalyst that makes Batman be like, I'm going to steal this rock from Lex Luthor, so that way I can fight Superman. And he makes like all these kryptonite grenades and stuff, and goes against Superman that way.
Because that is clearly the most effective use of that.
And he makes a big kryptonite spear that he's going to stab him with.
They got that from Injustice, just saying.
They did.
Was it Injustice?
No.
I think it was Injustice.
It might have been Injustice. I forget. I remember seeing that, though, somewhere. And this movie is like a hodgepodge of like 4 different movies.
Yeah, that's honestly the most common complaint I've heard about it throughout everything, was that it's just like everything's just so mishmashed together that it's kind of hard to think of it as a coherent movie.
So there's like one movie is like it's a sequel to Man of Steel and dealing with the aftermath of Man of Steel and how like he basically like wiped out this entire city. One movie is a Batman v Superman movie where Batman fights Superman and there's that conflict between them. One is a solo Batman movie where he's off doing his own little Batman-y stuff. And then like another one is a Lex Luthor movie where Lex Luthor's off doing his own thing. And then somehow these just don't fit together.
They don't really mesh well.
No. And then there's like a Justice League setup movie at the end of it. Like it all just doesn't work. But somehow I really enjoy it. Like I don't know. I feel like if there was like a Batman v Superman TV series, it would be great. Because it would have enough time to set up everything. And it wouldn't feel so like rushed together.
Well, yeah, you would do what they did in this one movie over a season.
Exactly. Even if it was like something like a 5 to 10 episode season, like something on like Netflix or something.
Yeah, like Daredevil or
like,
you know.
Yeah. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, something like that. And you just lay out all these plot lines over that and set that up for the Justice League movie. It would work so well.
It would, except they had said that, you know, their TV and their movies shall never touch.
Which
it's like their peas and mashed potatoes. You got to keep them separate.
It makes sense, I guess, that they would do that, but it doesn't at the same time because like this new version of the Flash that they have looks odd. Like he's just an odd-looking guy. Like he doesn't look like the Flash.
Yeah, it was an odd casting choice for sure, because you had showed me a picture of him before, actually right after we had done that recording, or maybe it was during the recording, I don't quite remember.
I think it was after.
But yeah, he looks nothing like, he looks closer to Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
And I remember how I said, oh, I hope he cuts his hair at least. He doesn't cut his hair.
He doesn't, oh god.
And he still has that weird facial hair that he has.
So Shaggy is now the Flash.
Yeah. But yeah, so we were we were right on all the big plot beats, except we were wrong on where some things fit in. There's no Bizarro Superman.
Okay.
The main reason why Superman is acting like all like antagonistic towards Batman is because Lex Luthor says that kidnaps Superman's mom and says that they're gonna kill his mom if he doesn't kill Batman. Why Lex Luthor wants Superman to kill Batman, I'll never have any clue. But
why Superman would... You'd think he'd be strong enough just to kind of take her back, no? Or is there some sort of, like, convenient plot device that he can't take her back because of this, that?
Well, he had... Lex Luthor's a timer that he says, in an hour she's going to die unless you bring me the head of the bat. And if you don't do that, then she's done for. And so Superman's like, I need to go over there and talk him into working with me or whatever. But then he gets over there and Batman's all like, I'm just here to kick your ass, bro. Like he's got his suit on, and he just starts fighting him, and he's like got guns and stuff ready and drawn on him, like machine gun turrets that come up and start shooting Superman and stuff.
Do you have a problem with the Batman guns? Because that's something a lot of people didn't like.
I don't know. The gun you see him using in the trailer is his kryptonite launcher thing. I don't have a problem with
submachine gun thing.
What submachine gun thing?
The thing at the end of the trailer where it's the three of them sitting there.
Yeah.
And he's holding like that submachine gun looking thing.
That's a kryptonite grenade launcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of like an underbarrel grenade launcher. I don't know. He never uses. If it is a different gun, he never used the other gun function other than the kryptonite grenade launcher. So, so he's using that against Doomsday at the end of the movie. That's that shot in the trailer. Is that the three of them are about to fight Doomsday?
Okay.
So, and also remember how I said in the other thing that I think it was just edited together weirdly, and I thought she blocked a shot from Superman.
Yeah.
No, she blocks a shot from Doomsday.
It is Doomsday?
But that huge explosion thing does not happen after that. That is edited in weirdly. That huge explosion is from way earlier on during the fight.
They just use the explosion as a little extra cool factor for the trailer.
Yeah, because my whole point was, if that explosion is happening, Batman's not getting saved by this tiny shield.
No, he's dead.
Yeah, like the shockwave would kill him. But then after that, he gets out of the plane, and then that line of, "Is she with you? I thought she was with you," and then that happens. The point that I was getting at back with the fight is that they're fighting for like this long time, and it's literally only a 10-minute fight.
Oh, so we were right.
We were right. It is a 10-minute fight. And so they fight, and it's actually like a really good, well done fight. Like it's a badass fight between the two of them. And at the end of it, Batman just got like his foot on Superman's neck, and he's just like about to stab him with a spear. And then Superman goes, "She's gonna kill Martha." And then Batman's like freaking out. He's like, "Why would you say that name?" Because Batman's mom is Martha Wayne. I've never put those two together. They both have the same name for their moms until this movie. I feel like an idiot. Because I've never put together that it's Martha Kent and Martha Wayne. And so then he explains that they have his mother or whatever. Batman goes to save her. That's that scene that we see in one of the trailers where it's like somebody's playing Arkham Asylum.
Oh.
Yeah. And then he saves the mom, and then the two of them go to fight Doomsday, and Wonder Woman shows up and all that jazz. And we were right about that towards the end. But you remember the thing that we said of why are they wasting Doomsday on this movie? Because then they can't do Death and Return of Superman.
Yeah.
Superman dies at the end of this movie.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Superman gets stabbed because he's there. He's already being weakened because he has to use the kryptonite spear on Doomsday, so he's already weakened from that. But then he also flies into this cloud of kryptonite that Batman has to shoot at Doomsday to weaken him because he's got like the same
weakness.
Yeah, same weakness to kryptonite. And so like then Wonder Woman cuts off Doomsday's hand, and a big spike comes out of the stump, and he stabs Superman in the chest with that. And so then they both die on the ground. And then they have this big 21-gun salute for Superman as a soldier. And then they really have the real funeral for Superman as Clark Kent off in Kansas. And then like they bury him down there. Batman talks to Wonder Woman, and he's like, "We've got to unite the rest of the people who are like you guys, because there's going to be a big fight coming." And then they walk away. And then Lois Lane throws dirt on the thing, and then we see the dirt start to float up, like when Superman starts to fly at Man of Steel, and the movie ends.
So we're left to believe that he's not
really dead.
Yeah, he's not really
I knew for a fact that he wasn't really dead.
Yeah, because there's no way they'd kill him off. It's absolutely impossible.
Especially not like technically 2 movies into this universe, they would not kill off.
Yeah, before Justice League, not happening.
No, definitely not. I knew he was definitely going to be coming back. At least if it wasn't in the beginning of Justice League, he was going to come back towards the end of this movie. I really expected him to fly out of the box by the end of it. But he didn't.
Continue?
No, say what you were going to say.
Well, no, because it's going to go into a huge tangent, so continue.
I was just going to say, so them showing the dirt rising up was kind of like, he's still alive. It's kind of like at the end of X-Men 3, when Magneto moves the chess piece.
Yeah.
and it like moves like an inch, and they like go into like this end credits thing. That's exactly what happens, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the very classical, movie trick of, oh, he's not really gone.
Yeah, but you were gonna say no.
So the thing, like you said, is probably gonna be the longest. How does the desert scene fit into this?
All right, let's talk about the desert scene here. I feel like to properly talk about the desert scene, I need to set up the fact that Batman has these weird hallucinations during the movie.
Is he doing shrooms? What?
No, like he has like these nightmares or something like that. And so in the beginning, during the opening sequence of the death of his parents or whatever, shows him running away from the funeral and like just running in the woods, and he falls down a hole that has bats in it, and he starts to float up in the air with all these bats around him. And I thought at first, like, I was like, all right, this is a weird way they're taking this Batman origin story now that bats literally carried him out of a hole.
It's like the penguin from that old Batman movie.
Exactly. But then the line right after it is, I dreamed that they brought me to the light or whatever, and it was a bright light. And so I was like, oh, okay, so that was a dream. And then later on he's having a dream that he's in like the old Wayne tomb, and then like Man-Bat or something like that flies out of his dad's what is it? His dad's, like, coffin. Now, see, I say Man-Bat, but I know it's probably not setting up Man-Bat as a thing, but it was just a giant bat, so my brain went to Man-Bat.
Oh, it's Man-Bat. It's gotta be.
Yeah, my brain went to Man-Bat. I was like, oh, Man-Bat's in this. All right, that makes sense.
That'd be
but then
pretty
it was
cool.
like, it would be, but...
It's not, but it'd be cool if they did it.
Yeah, but then he wakes up from that nightmare. So then, the longest nightmare that he has is the desert sequence.
Okay.
I need to set up something as well from earlier in the movie. These two things converge onto one. So remember how during my thing of what I think the movie's going to be about, I said I think Lex Luthor hires this military team to work as Superman soldiers to make Superman look like a bad guy?
Yeah.
So early on in the movie, there's a scene where Lois Lane is in like Africa, and she's talking to like a warlord, and then these guys kill all the rest of these warlords, and Superman comes in and saves people and kills a bunch of people in the village, I guess. It's not the point, though. So these soldiers that killed the rest of these other guys set up that they're supposed to be like Superman did this. And then we find out later in the movie they're working for Lex Luthor. Like, it's like towards like the middle. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be right about the desert sequence. And I was like, they're going to be like Superman soldiers working for Lex Luthor. But then the desert sequence happens, and so it opens up, right? And it's Batman in his desert Batman costume, available now at Toys R Us, and he's looking over the big Omega symbol, and he sees like these guys down at the bottom, and then he goes down there, and it's like in a LexCorp truck, and he says, do you have the Rock? And I'm figuring, like, at this point, I'm like...
Dwayne?
Yeah, Dwayne. No, at this point, I'm like, did we miss like a whole big chunk of this movie? Because this seems like he's actually getting... Because this is when they set up his intentions of getting the Rock from Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I miss like a whole big chunk of this movie right now? And we're already at like the final battle sort of thing?
Yeah, you actually blacked out.
Yeah, or something. Or I was like, if movies used to be projected like they used to be with like film reels, I would be like, oh, so we clearly missed a reel here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these Superman soldiers come out of nowhere, and start like fighting people and shooting them, and Batman like picks up a gun and starts shooting people, like killing them.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. And then as he is like shooting them and killing them, I'm like, what is going on here? Because this isn't right. Like, there's no way that Batman is killing people. And then the Apocalypse soldiers come flying out of nowhere, right? The ones that we see in the trailer.
Yeah.
And they come down and they start picking up people and, like, killing them or whatever. And then Batman's, like, trying to fight against the superheroes, the Superman soldiers. And then one of these Apocalypse soldiers comes behind him and knocks him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cuts to Batman underground in that thing that you see him in the trailer when he's, like, locked down and Superman comes down into the hole. And he starts walking down the thing, right? He, like, laser visions these two other people in half. And then walks up to Bruce, rips the mask off of Batman, and he says, you took her from me. You took the woman that I loved. And then Superman wakes up from the dream, right? It was a dream. And then all of a sudden...
Superman wakes up?
No, I meant Batman.
Oh.
Batman wakes up from the dream and he's like, what the hell? And then he like looks to the left and there's like this lightning thing, and it's a guy coming through and he's like, Bruce, it was Lois. Lois is the key. And he's like, am I too soon? I'm too soon, or whatever. And he says some other stuff that I couldn't really understand. But that guy is the Flash.
Oh.
So the Flash seemingly is coming to Bruce from the past to tell from the future to tell him to like save Lois Lane or something. And then all of a sudden Bruce Wayne wakes up from that dream too. It's
a dream within a dream.
And I'm like,
we're going Inception style. We got the Flash running back in time because Speed Force. We have time, apparently, dreams within dreams. This movie sounds more of a mess than I thought it was.
So the thing that makes that incredibly confusing, right, is that when he woke up from the dream and the Flash thing was happening, I said, oh, so the Flash thing woke him up from the dream. Maybe it was like a vision of the future or something like that was given to him through this time rift or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But then the fact that he wakes up from the Flash thing, as if that's a dream, leads to so many other questions of, is this Flash thing a real thing, first off?
Yeah.
Right? Or is he just having a dream about a person that he's never met? Then, is this, if the Flash thing is real, is he giving a warning of later on in the movie? Because there's like a scene where like Lois Lane almost drowns. So is he giving a point of that? Or is he giving a point of something that's going to come in Justice League? Because if, say, in Justice League, Bruce Wayne says, go back in time and warn my past self about this.
Yeah.
And then we see, like, the Flash run and go back in time.
Yes, he can do that.
Because he can do that. If that happens, that'd be kind of badass. Like, I'd really enjoy that. As it is now, I'm an incredibly confused viewer, and I can only imagine what the people in the audience must have felt like during that sequence. Also, I think that you were kind of right, and they're setting up that one of the Justice League movies is going to be like Injustice.
Is it?
Yeah, because it seems like what may happen is that Lois Lane dies, and Superman goes crazy.
Yeah, so that's pretty similar to a lot of the plotlines they do. Is Superman very, very often gets turned into that main villain because they run out of other people.
Yeah. And I was just so, like, incredibly confused after that. And just, I kept thinking, like, what does that mean for the future of this? You know?
Well, yeah, we had this discussion off air where if you go into Darkseid in your second movie, who do you have after that? Like you said off air, you're starting with Thanos. Like, how do you continue moving forward if you started with the universe's biggest villain?
Yeah, exactly. It would be like if Avengers 1 was they fight Thanos.
Yeah.
Whereas instead of waiting for like Avengers 3, where we can have everybody that's in the universe fight Thanos, we have like these 6 people fight Thanos. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
But the thing with Darkseid is, and this happens a lot in the comics, is I feel like they're going to fight him and defeat him, but he's not going to be like dead. Like, he's going to come back.
Yeah, I'm not as up on DC Comics as other people. I'm more of a Marvel person, but it's my understanding that Darkseid doesn't really die as much in the comics. Like, it's very often that like hypothetical death sort of thing.
Yeah, where he seems like he's dead, but then somehow he comes back in some way.
Yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen here. But as it stands now, I'm still like incredibly confused about this desert sequence.
Yeah, that whole thing, I haven't, like I said at the beginning of this, I hadn't seen the movie, and that whole thing just seemed completely confusing to me. But I have a question.
Yes.
So we know the first one, the first desert sequence, that is a dream. It's the Flash.
That is, in fact, confirmed to be a dream because he wakes up from that dream.
And the Flash sequence after that is the one we're unsure about. But in the desert one, you had mentioned that he's like shooting people. But Batman never kills. Does it count if he's in a dream?
Here's the thing with that, too. I remember how earlier in the thing I was talking about how I don't know if I like some of the things that they're doing with Batman, but I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
This is one of the things?
This wasn't one of the things. One of the things is that he straight up just, like, murders people at some points in this movie.
Really?
Like, in real life. Like, there's a whole chase sequence with the Batmobile where he's trying to chase down the LexCorp truck that has the kryptonite in it. And there's a dude who, like, he, like, crashes into, like, a Dodge Charger. Then he like tow cables it behind him and uses it as like a cannonball or something.
Jesus.
And it flips over the Batmobile and like lands on top of a car, like literally like squishing down this car.
It's like Fast and Furious levels of destruction here.
Essentially, yeah. And then he's chasing after another one, and like the back of it flips open. It's like a pickup truck, and it has like a minigun. And so he's like shooting the minigun at the Batmobile, and then the Batmobile has guns in the front, and it shoots the car. And the car like spins to the side and like kind of starts to blow up, and then Batman just crashes through this car. Like, he straight up has just murdered a couple people.
So that was another thing we had discussed off air, was whether or not they took the route with now Superman kills people because he killed Zod. And I had asked, do you think that they're going to go that route with Batman? You said no way. But now it seems that, they've kind of tossed that to the wind.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just a thing of, like, this is, like, a really old Batman, so this Batman doesn't care. Because Alfred says, like, some line that they've been doing this for 20 years. So this Batman has at least been around for 20 years.
So he's been doing the Batman thing a while.
Yeah. And that's also a weird thing where they're treating, like, a lot of the cops in the city treat this Batman like he's a new thing.
Oh, so there's that weird sort of continuity thing where Alfred says, 20 years, but the cops are like, oh, well, we got this new threat.
It's not even, like, they don't say, like, a new threat or anything like that. It's clearly, like, they know who it is.
Yeah.
But this one cop is like, whoa, I've never seen him before. This is crazy. They're shocked that Batman is around. It was really weird. And they never specifically call him Batman. They call him the Bat. Or like the news calls him the Gotham Bat.
That's odd, I suppose, but, I mean, of all the things that are odd with this movie, I think this one's pretty far down the list.
Yeah. But his killing people in the desert thing, I don't know if that's just kind of like how, what's the word I'm looking for? Like how desperate he is at this point in what is clearly maybe a scene from one of the Justice League movies, whether it be part 1 or part 2. And, what that means for the future, I have no clue. Because if Batman just starts straight up using guns and murdering people, I think I have a problem with that.
I think a lot of people have a problem with that because that's part of his character. Like, that's why Joker and Two-Face and all the guys that he should be able to deal with very, very easily are always around because he refuses to kill them.
Exactly.
The whole thing is Batman just doesn't kill people.
But Superman does.
Yeah, but apparently now Superman does.
Superman, so he killed General Zod in the first one, and this one he kills, this weird warlord guy. Or it seemingly kills him, because he, flies him through a wall. And then, you don't know what happens to him after that, and you hear about all this destruction he did to a village.
I mean, you can make assumptions.
Yeah, you can make assumptions of what happened there.
His face met a wall. I think we know what happened.
Especially with the force of Superman behind it.
Yeah.
And then in that desert sequence, we see him, laser those guys in half, so you can only assume that that's involved somehow.
So now, my original question just doesn't even matter. Because I had asked, does it count if he just kills him in a dream? But he's killing him out of a dream, too.
Yeah. So...
Well, I'm not okay with that. That's not cool.
But I don't know if I give that a pass, though, because I like Ben Affleck as Batman.
So you like his Batman when he's actually following true to the character.
Yeah, and I even, I think, some of those, when he's, crazy, killing people during, that car chase thing, it seems like maybe a way, an old, desperate Batman would act to me, I think. Maybe at some point he would just be screw it. I need to stop these guys in any way possible.
He's sort of just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks at this point.
And there's, things that I've always said for years. When I play, Arkham Asylum and stuff and I get into these huge fights, I'm Batman has to be doing irreparable damage to these people's bodies at some point. So, essentially, you're killing them in a way. Because you're just kind of ending their, lives of being able to do anything. They're definitely, paralyzed for the rest of their lives. Yeah. You're breaking their bones in some way. I'm sure that, maybe a Batman that's been doing this for 20 years that really wants to get something done would go to this next desperate level of just, you know what, I don't care, at any cost I'm getting this kryptonite, you know?
Okay, so it's not as far fetched as maybe it could seem at first glance, but I don't know. I still think that's a little weird.
It is definitely really weird at the start of it, when it happens, like when he starts killing people in this like car chase. It is really weird, but like I've kind of gotten, as I've like let it sink into my mind after the fact and let it like, I've thought about it today, I'm kind of okay with it. I think the second guns start getting involved, I kind of have a problem with it. Like, if he just straight up like picks up an Uzi and just starts blowing people away, I kind of have a problem with that.
Yeah, because that's even farther out of character for him. He doesn't use guns and he doesn't kill people. Put the two together and you have everything that is essentially not Batman.
He straight up blows a guy up in this movie too.
Seriously?
Yeah. So during that scene I was talking about earlier with Superman's mom and how he has to go save Superman's mom.
Yeah.
There's a part where he gets into the room with the guy and he has the flamethrower like to her head basically. And he's like, I'm gonna like set her on fire right now if you come any closer. And he has like his other friend who has like a big machine gun in his hand, right? And Batman kind of has a grip on it, and he's like aimed at it with the guy's hand, and he shoots the gas tank and then like grabs Martha Kent and like protects her from the explosion. And so that guy's dead.
He
had a gas tank on his back and blew up.
Yeah, he's splattered all over that nice wall.
Exactly. And then, you know, they have a nice little laugh after, though, when he's like, oh, I'm a friend of your son's. And then she's like, I figured from the cape. Like, yeah, that's real great. Let's have a laugh after a man just blew up on a wall.
Yeah, I just killed 2 people. Let's have a joke.
Yeah, let's have a little laugh.
You want some tea and crumpets, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. That sort of bugs me a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know. We're approaching a very, very long recording here, so I think we should probably
I'm gonna wrap up here.
All right. So hold on, one last question.
Okay.
So we do now have the explanation behind that desert sequence. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no introduction of either Scarecrow or Martian Manhunter.
No intro. And that was one of the theories that I had, was maybe Martian Manhunter shows him this what could happen in the future kind of thing. Yeah. But no, Martian Manhunter doesn't show up, and there's no Scarecrow at all. It's literally just Bruce Wayne's just having nightmares.
He has PTSD.
Kind of, yeah, maybe.
Okay. I guess that's fine. They've already, sort of shoehorned. We are saying that word a lot. Have you noticed shoehorned?
Yeah.
But Flash, Cyborg, and Aquaman, 2 of which really didn't get an introduction. They just sort of got a on-screen cameo. And the Flash, while that, running back in time theoretically sequence is cool, we just have to see where that goes in the future.
Yes.
And hopefully he stops looking like Shaggy, because I am not going to be okay if the Flash is Shaggy.
Like Zoink Scoob? like stuff like that. Like, that would be weird.
Then we're going to get Superman's dog. He's going to be Scooby-Doo. We're going to have to figure out who Fred is. Maybe Fred's Aquaman. He's just a little, rough around the edges.
Well, we obviously know who Daphne is.
Who's Daphne?
Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Who's Velma, then?
Oh, that's true. Who is Velma? I think Superman's Fred.
You think Superman? Well, he's not blonde. Aquaman's blonde.
Aquaman's not blonde.
Is he not? I thought the actor was
I saw
blonde.
the movie last night, Brad. He's not blonde.
Really? Isn't the actor blonde?
No, he's not. He has like blonde streaks in his hair, but I don't think it's like anything like. I don't think he's actually blonde.
Okay, well then, yeah, I guess you could say Superman is Fred. He does have the most Fred-like haircut.
Exactly. Probably wears an ascot.
You think so?
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I'd see that. I'm gonna wrap up here though.
Okay.
Because so, I don't think it's like the train wreck of a movie every reviewer is saying that it is. It has some train wreck-like qualities.
The train derailed a little bit, but it didn't tip over.
Yeah, the train's kind of wobbling a little bit on the rails, but...
Weeble wobble, but won't fall down.
Exactly. So, I feel like, too, this movie maybe seems a lot better to me, and I really wish that I could go back in time and retroactively start this podcast from when this movie came out, so that way I could talk to you in a forum like this about Fantastic Four. But I feel like after seeing the movie Fantastic Four, a superhero movie that's at least competently made is always going to get a pass from me.
Yeah, this is, if anything, this is kind of showing you like how bad that Fantastic Four movie really was, where like reviewers don't like Batman v Superman, but everybody is saying it's better than Fantastic Four.
And you know what? I was going to say Superman 64.
Wrong game.
Fantastic Four retroactively makes me look back on bad superhero movies and think of them better. Like, I look at Batman and Robin, I go, it's not that bad compared to Fantastic Four.
I think we actually need to thank Fox, because they have single-handedly made every superhero movie better by making one absolutely awful movie.
X-Men 3, X-Men Origins Wolverine, masterpieces compared to Fantastic Four.
Yes, that Deadpool's still weird, though. I don't ever want to see that again.
Yeah, no, that Deadpool is weird. I can't get behind that Deadpool. But I can get behind the fact that that's at least more of a movie than Fantastic Four is.
Yes.
Like, so when I see a movie like this where it's got some bad elements, but overall it's a good movie.
It's solid fun.
Exactly.
Well,
thank you, Brad. You pointed it out. It's fun. Which is something I can't say for Man of Steel either.
No.
Because Man of Steel was just drab garbage, kind of. Even though it's not that bad of a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. I wish more people would see that.
Well, the critics gave it a 31, but the actual viewers is sitting at like a 70 right now, so you're not too far off the beaten path. You said what, B+ on the verge of A-?
Yeah.
So you're 10, 15 points above them. That's not too far.
I feel like if it maybe cut some of these side stories that don't need to be in it.
Yeah.
Maybe cut out some of the things of, hey, look at all these logos on a computer.
Yeah, the Bat flash drive to me seems really, really weird.
It's not literally a flash drive. It's just, it was a weird device that he hooked up to the thing, and I didn't know what to call it other than a Bat flash drive.
All right, I'm thinking literally he just walked up with a thumb drive, just plugged it in, and just took the whole system.
Like a thumb drive with the Bat logo on it.
It's actually like a Batarang, but it has a little USB thing on it.
I would respect that. It would be kind of like that. Remember in the first Avengers when Hawkeye has that arrow that hooks into the computer and steals all the turns off the ship?
Yeah.
Like, if it was like that would be pretty sweet. But yeah, so overall, it's good. I'd say go see it if you're a fan of these characters and if you're interested, which I think everyone at least is a little bit curious.
Everybody wants to, now that it's been classified as a train wreck, everybody has to do what they always do with train wrecks, right? With car accidents.
Yeah.
You don't want to look, but you want to see how bad it is.
That's the same reason why I went to go see Fantastic Four. It was sitting at a 9% when I bought my ticket. Because I was just like, I need to see what this thing is.
Like, it can't be that bad. And
oh man, it was bad. So, yeah, so B+, verging on A-. I'd say more towards a B+, though.
All right. I can't give it a rating because, like I said, I haven't seen it, but I think you have convinced me. I might go see it.
I would definitely want you to go see it, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, honestly. Coming at it from someone who's not even really, like, a DC fan.
No, I know very little about DC.
Like, I don't even read that much DC either. I mainly, like, stick to Batman stuff because I really like Batman. But, this actually has gotten me to go read some more DC comics. Like, I went on Comixology last night, and I kind of bought some more books.
Nice.
And I'm very interested. I want to read some more. I want to see another one that I completely forgot they could do for a Justice League movie, Infinite Crisis. But that's not the point right now.
Yes.
Point is, you should go see Batman v Superman, and let us know down below what you think of Batman v Superman. Is it a train wreck? Is it not a train wreck? Don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Yes. Mark the spoilers, guys. You want me to go into the spiel?
Yeah, go into the spiel.
Okay. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at completewithdlc@gmail.com. That's where you can send all those terrible, complaints about Batman v Superman. That's where we'll read all of them.
Because we have a lot of sway on the Warner Brothers board.
Oh, absolutely. So. We sit in all the meetings and listen. We're sorry. If we'd been in the meeting with Zack Snyder, we would have said no, but, Jacob and I had some other stuff to do. It was a long day, okay?
I was in the meeting with him one time. I told him to go sit in the corner and think about what he said. I slapped him in the face, and I said, that's for Watchmen.
Yeah, we put him in the hallway, put him in timeout. He wouldn't listen. He's a trouble child, okay? But completewithdlc@gmail.com is where you're going to want to send all all your questions, comments, complaints, concerns, anything you want us to read. If you're listening to this, you're listening on either iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, because those are the 3 platforms this podcast is hosted on. And if you are, leave us a little review down below. Give us a rating. We love to hear all the feedback, and we take in everything you guys say and are trying to improve constantly. We like to think we're moving in the right direction. If you want to follow it straight from the source, we're hosted on SoundCloud. That's where the RSS feed is hosted, and that's directly from the source. That's the freshest, off-the-press line you can get in terms of podcast.
Smell those fresh cinnamon buns.
Exactly. It smells like home. If you want to follow us on the social medias, you can do that on Twitter. That's where Jacob puts out all the tweets when a new episode goes up, whether there's an interesting story that we might talk about, or whether one of us is doing something interesting. If you want to follow us on, or subscribe to us on YouTube, that is where we back up all the podcast episodes, and we do some other Let's Play stuff. Right now, some horror games. Coming soon, a Fallout 4 playthrough, so we can play that new DLC. And we got some other things in the works as well. We are complete with DLC on both Twitter and YouTube as well. Jacob, if they want to get in touch with you specifically, say they want to talk to you about why Batman v Superman is the worst movie of the century, how can they do that?
Well, if you want to tell me why I'm wrong, you can find me on any sort of social media at itsjaygriff, ITSJAYGRIFF, and let me know your thoughts on anything, whether it be Batman v Superman, my shocking statements that I've made here today, or anything. Brad, where can they find you?
If you want to find me and talk to, maybe talk to me about how, you're not going to see Batman v Superman, and neither am I. We can talk in blissful ignorance together. You can do that on Twitter. I am Kalgene on Twitter, Kalgne. That is probably the fastest way to get in touch with me. But if you want to actually have a conversation, the best way is going to be through Battle.net. That's Blizzard's interactive hub for all their games with an instant messenger thingy attached. And my Battle.net code is Brad1261. Brad, hashtag 1261 if you need to add that in. I'm still not sure. One day I'll figure it out, and I won't have to say that twice. But until that day, I'm going to say it twice. But those are the 2 best ways to get in touch with me.
And that's pretty much it. It's been wrapped up here.
This is by far the longest complete review we've ever done. But could you expect any more?
No, it's been the movie that it's been on my mind all week.
I mean, It's been talked about for years. I think it deserves a long episode.
So I found out that this movie's been apparently in development for 3 years, and it finished filming in 2014.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding.
It finished filming 2 years ago, and yet we only got it yesterday. Today,
yeah.
Technically.
Technically today.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it?
I am now going to log off this show in anger. I'm upset.
This has been Complete with Review. I'm Jacob Griffin.
I'm angry.
And thank you for listening.